Good evening, good evening, good evening. Today is still Saturday, February 1st, 2025. I'm back with another episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Now, for the last couple of weeks, since President Trump has been in office, in my community, amongst my people, and my former people, the Democrats, and most, as we know, over 90+% of black people loyally, blindly vote Democrat. And they falsely believe that they are doing the right thing for the black community because they falsely believe that the Democrat Party is for justice for black people. And they've been doing a lot of complaining lately about black history. They've been complaining and claiming that President Trump and the Republican Party are the racist ones, and that they want to remove black history. They want to teach us black history. They don't want to teach black history in schools. They're trying to remove Black History Month, so they claim. So now, basically, what it seems like all of a sudden, my people are extremely interested in black history. But for the last few decades of Democrat rule, I haven't heard a peep, or whisper about no black history. Even though we still wasn't being taught black history. No, like really. Since a Republican in office, and one that they really hate, now they're claiming that they love black history so much, and that it's being removed or not being taught anymore, which shows that they are completely out of touch with reality. And the reason I say that is because black history was never being taught in school. I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. But now, since y'all so interested, Democrats, black folks, y'all so interested in black history, I'm going to give you some. I'm going to give you some about your beloved Democrat Party. And I'm going to give you some about your favorite black person that they love to teach us about. One of the only things they teach us about black history, Martin Luther King Jr. The little black history that they have taught us throughout the decades, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Booker T. Washington. That's it. They might dabble in a little Malcolm X, but not much because he taught you to fight back. So they ain't teach much about Malcolm X. You had to kind of like most black history, you had to learn about him on your own. That wasn't a favorite amongst what they taught us in school under the guise of black history. Martin Luther King, Booker T. Washington, a little Harriet Tubman here and there, the Underground Railroad. That was it. And slavery. So y'all complaining about losing something we never had. But you're doing it for the sake of complaining. No real leg to stand on. Well, you know me. Big Ward, the genius, the sarcastic one, the king of doom and gloom. I'm here to teach you some black history. So therefore, they can't remove it from the school. Since y'all want to learn some black history so much, let me teach you some. Let's go back to the 60s, the civil rights era. A very important moment in time for us, black people. Even more important than being freed from slavery. Because even though we were freed from slavery, we still didn't have no rights. So we wasn't free. Fast forward from slavery to the civil rights movement. And you know, Martin Luther the King, that Martin Luther King fella, the only black history they really taught us. Let's go back in that history. Black peoples and your love affair with the Democrat Party. Here's some black history that y'all didn't know and that you don't want to know. And you might try to deny it, but you can't deny the truth because it's written in history. You can go back and research it for yourself. Now y'all know that 1965 Civil Rights Act y'all claim Donald Trump trying to do away with, which ain't true. He went back on a, executive order signed by Lyndon Johnson. Not the Civil Rights Act of 1964, 1963, 1965 that Martin Luther King and everybody fought for. Not that Civil Rights Act. That's law. Henceforth and forevermore, that's law. But what the Democrats are doing is what they always have done, playing on black people's emotions. They know we are an emotional people, a feeling type people. Big hearts. They've called us all types of derogatory names, you know, different animal names and savages and stuff like that. But that's just out of trying to hurt our feelings. But they know that's not who we really are. They know deep down, for real, we're emotional, big-hearted, loving people that you can play on our heartstrings. So they've been taking advantage of that, the Democrat Party, for decades, taking advantage of us in our emotional instability, which is prevalent now more than ever. We are an extremely emotional people right now in America. So y'all running around here beating the drums. The war drum, the racism, discrimination drum. Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that. If you black, if you're a Democrat, you're a sellout. Not knowing that if you're a Democrat and you black, you the sellout. Now, let me explain why. In the 60s, when Dr. King and other black people, you know, the civil rights movement, freedom fighters, when they were marching, dogs were being sicked on them. Fire hoses was being sprayed on black people. Marching for their civil rights, fighting for civil rights, going to jail, being unalived for the civil rights we enjoy today. They were back there fighting the good fight for our civil rights and their civil rights. Do you know who they were fighting against? Do you know who Dr. King was marching? All those marches, the bus boycotts, the Birmingham bombings. You know who they was marching against? You know who they had to fight against for their civil rights? You know who they were fighting to gain civil rights. Did you know? No, you didn't know. And I'm going to teach you some black history. Some real, truthful history that you can go back and see, research for yourself, see if I'm lying. Martin Luther King, the civil rights movement, the black people, your grandma, great-grandma, aunts, uncles, all that what we saw in them black and white films, who they were fighting against for our rights were Democrats. The Democrat Party. Lyndon Baines Johnson, who Martin Luther King, after years of fighting, protest, arrest, getting beat up, all on national TV, sit-ins, weigh-ins, all that, to finally get the Democrat to sign the legislation in the law. He fought against it tooth and nail, the Democrat president, Lyndon Johnson. Democrats were in power during all that time. The Democrats were the resistance to civil rights. The Democrat Party was the ones that Martin Luther King had to march and fight against. My people perish for a lack of knowledge. You calling me a sellout, but you calling me a sellout because I know something you don't know and that you don't want to know. You can't handle the truth, black people. But since you complaining about you not being taught no black history, I'm here to teach you some. Hold on.
Grand Old Partisan celebrates more than 17 decades of Republican heroes and heroics. Today, I denounce Democrat devilry. May 3rd, 1963, police in Birmingham, Alabama, commanded by Democrat Sheriff Eugene Bull Connor, attacked several thousand African-American school children who were demonstrating peacefully for their civil rights. At the time, it should be noted, Connor was Democratic National Committeeman for Alabama. He had been elected as a Democrat president of the State Public Service Commission. A member of the Ku Klux Klan, Connor had been a Democrat state legislator. He was delegate to the 1948, 1956, 1964, and 1968 Democrat National Conventions. Pages 192 and 93 of Back to Basics for the Republican Party describe how Connor's men used police dogs and high-pressure hoses and clubs in their assault, then jailed nearly 1,000 children.
So, the Republicans wrote about, reported on, and spoke out against the Democrat Party for how they was doing black people. The Republican Party was the party that was trying to help black people. They always have been the anti-slavery party. The Democrat Party, which is the oldest political party in America, was the founders of slavery, segregation. All that right there what we fighting against was from Democrats.
Back to Basics for the Republican Party is my civil rights history of the GOP. To quote the book, the more we Republicans know about the history of our party, the more the Democrats will worry about the future of theirs. For more information, see grandoldpartisan.com. Grand Old Partisan.
Now, as the man said, right there at the end, the more we learn about the Republican Party, the more the Democrat worries about theirs. That's what I did. I started doing my own research, history, and I found out, since y'all want to learn some black history, since y'all so interested in black history, are you really? Are you going to be able to deal with what you're about to find out about black history. The Democrat Party was the party that had their foot on black people's neck. Our whole time in America, ain't nothing changed. Martin Luther King, all that marching they did. Malcolm X, all that fighting and everything they went through was at the hands of the Democrat Party. Bull Connor, known as one of the most racist sheriffs this country has ever known, was a Democrat in Birmingham, or better known as Birmingham Democrats. You remember that old racist George Wallace that stood in the doorway of Alabama, the University of Alabama, my Crimson Tide? You remember that George Wallace? Yes, George Wallace. Segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. That George Wallace. Segregation then, segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. In that old Southern accent. That George Wallace was a Democrat. Did you know that? Today in Black History, the first day of Black History Month, George Washington, no, George Wallace, Bull Connor, Lester Maddox in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. I need to check that to make sure. Oh, Lester Maddox out of Georgia. All these Southern racists were Democrats. Welcome to the first day of Black History Month, ladies and gentlemen, with your host, Big Ward, telling you the truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. To you delusional Democrats that's pointing the fingers at me and other black people that have woken up, that are waking up to the truth, and y'all still stuck on stupid. You still swearing blind allegiance to the most racist party ever created, the Democrat Party. They are the devil. And the devil, Satan, he gets people to do his bidding and his will through deception and deceiving you through lies and manipulation. That's what Satan does to his followers. He deceives you, lies to you, manipulates your mind to where you can't see the truth. He blinds you from the truth. Hence, the Democrat Party, the party of Satan. Manipulating you, deceiving you, blinding you to the truth. And that truth is, they are the true Satan in America. That's why they are the party of anything goes. Marry who you want to marry, no matter what the Bible says, no matter what God says. You got the right to do whatever you want to do, according to the Democrats, but yet claim to be of Christian. The party of perversion, but claim to be Christian. Doing the same thing now they've always done. Use lies and deceit and manipulation to control the minds of the people. But oh, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of us are waking up now. And they putting up heavy resistance, like they put up resistance to Dr. King. Malcolm X, and other freedom fighters. The same way the Democrats put up resistance then, they putting up resistance now to keep the truth from getting out. Oh, but it's too late. Should have never let somebody like me find this platform. So y'all can hold my subscriber count YouTube at 84,200. But you ain't stopping what's meant to be. I know that the games y'all playing YouTube, but it's too late. You can't stop what God has ordained. So, 84,200 it'll be. I ain't got to have 200,000, 300,000 million. I ain't got none of that. The word's still getting out. If one person hear me, that's enough. It don't take but one to hear this truth. And my job is done. And I'm doing that. I told y'all, I'm back. And I'm bringing hell with me. Happy Black History Month. Get it, got it, good. Bye.